Hello, tacticians, and welcome back to the Freestyle Tactics channel dedicated to a better living for better riding. Back in 2015, I was honored to do an in-depth interview with Martti Kuoppa, the legendary BMX flatland rider from Finland. I truly wanted to understand how he had done to make such a huge comeback after 2 burnouts and actually quitting riding 3 years prior. From the bottom back to the top again, he actually won the biggest contest at that time, the FlatArk in Japan. This interview is so full of wisdom and is such an hilarious story. I invite you to check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. It's definitely worth your time. Anyways, nowadays Martti Kuoppa has definitely hung up on professional riding and has become a coach. I interviewed him again this past November in China right after the UCI Worldchampionships. And this time my mission was to learn the secrets he uses in training such incredible riders as Terry Adams, Toons Pakfum, Varo Hernandez, and Irina Sadovnik, who actually became world champion this year. And let me tell you, you're in for a treat. If you want to learn practical tips that you can apply to your life and to your own riding from one of the best to ever do it on a BMX, this interview of Martti is full of nuggets from start to finish. He shares his invaluable knowledge and experience without holding anything back. And with such openness and sincerity, it's just incredible. But before I leave you with Coach Martti, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share and comment this video. Thank you so much to all the people that already do. And now, without further ado, this is Coach Martti Kuoppa. How are you doing?
Thank you for asking. I'm doing great. Yeah, I could not do any better today. Yes, I am very proud of the results because I wasn't really sure if things are gonna click together this weekend. And then I did have sessions with the people I'm coaching and we were able to do some last minute fine-tuning on things and things worked out really good. I could not be happier with the results. Irina won the World Championships, so what can you ask more? Terry got very close to the podium. We are both very happy about that. He's very hungry and he has that Terry fire in his heart, so I'm looking forward to get next year started with him.
It's never easy being the first doing something. You've done it in the past with tricks. Now you're doing it with coaching. What has been the push and how does it feel after such a big event?
Yeah, there has been definitely ups and downs with coaching. When you have an idea and you have everything in mind that it's gonna be going perfectly as I plan in my mind and the results are gonna follow up very soon. And sometimes they do in a short period of time and sometimes they don't. So it's impossible to look into the future the way that, okay, I know exactly what's gonna happen. He's gonna get 3rd place in 5 months time and then he's gonna win the competition in November. It just doesn't work like that. So basically when I started the MK format, I did that jump to unknown territory. I know that I've been working with Toon for some years before that, and then when I launched it officially for other people, yeah, it was a big change from managing just one person to several people. And it's like many things to pay attention when I'm doing it with more people. Plus I'm still, up until now I've been having full-time job on the side. And then of course I decided to get everything started when my daughter was born. So is there really a right time to start things in life? I don't think so. You can always think about it. I do it when she grows up. Instead I decided to do it right away and see how it goes. So far I've been very happy, although it's been a lot of work because I want to treat each rider as good as I can, give the best out of myself and as a coach and as a mentor. So far it's been going really good.
What actually made you decide to go full on to launch the program? And
there was a little bit of hesitation in the beginning because I did not know how people will react on coaching. In our sport, coaching has been done for several years, but it's basically happening on site, like in the same place. Coach is there and the students are there. In most of the cases, it's happening in a beginner to medium level, and my vision was to start doing the advanced and also pro level coaching, because that's where my knowledge is more. I haven't really been doing that much of beginner coaching. I've been doing a lot of coaching with Toon. I learned a lot, and I knew that it's also possible to scale to other people. But the reason why I didn't launch it before was, I guess, I wasn't really sure how people are going to react to it, as I mentioned before. And then I felt a little lonely in that sense. Then, I just woke up one morning and I started doing the website because it's quite simple to do the website and so on. And I decided, okay, now it's time to give it a try. And what can I lose? Can't lose anything, basically. Then the moment when I clicked to publish the website, and I was nervous for that, if people are not gonna reach out to me and if they are not really understanding what it's all about. But it started to build up from there. I started with Terry in January, but I think I launched it sometime in April. And also I've been doing it with Varo for some time, a year and a half now. So with Toon and Varo, it was kind of learning a lot from them as well. It's been a very fruitful process all in all.
Now that you're fully in, what gets you fired up?
I get fired up in different levels. Of course, the ultimate climax is when somebody does his or her run as good as it happened today. And Varo did a really great run last week. He got 11th place. I'm super proud of him. When the rider really gets it, either at his or her home spot or at the contest run, whenever something clicks together, it can be so that, okay, I just saw you riding with calm presence. You didn't look nervous at all. Okay, your placing wasn't there, but you looked happy. You were focused and you were not nervous. Or you were nervous, but you were able to handle it very well. So there are many levels that I get fired up. It's not only about the 4th place or so on. A little more than that. So it starts from the home spot. Okay, you did great. We did a video call. You did your run while I was watching and you did it flawlessly. That was great. And then they go to the contest and come back from the contest and I'm fully motivated and I made myself proud. I'm happy about my run and so on. So yeah, that kind of stuff.
When you think of successful, who do you think of in the flatland scene today?
Well, the first person comes to my mind is Matthias Dandar, as he's been doing very good job in the contest results and video parts, and also now his other side to it is like all the sponsors and all the media stuff that he's doing. He's very successful, and most of the guys like Vicky Gomez, he's very successful in my opinion. Alex Jumelin is very successful because he's doing the FIS Flat Academy and he's pushing flatland forwards with all this what's happening at the moment. Terry is very, very successful. There are many people.
Yeah,
so
it's not only a matter of money.
No, it's not only. All of these guys are pretty okay with money and career-wise, but they can be like, for example, Toon is very successful in my opinion. Yeah, I'm bringing out his name again, but the amount of progression he has made with his riding is remarkable in my opinion. He hasn't still made it to the podium in a big competition, but the amount of progression he has made in a couple of years is just very, I'm very proud of that.
It's really become like a constant figure in the contest scene. You see him very often, at least in the semi-finals.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I don't want to forget the current world champion of today from men, Dom. He's been smashing it with the contest results for, I don't know, a couple of years now, maybe more. He's doing a good job, very good job.
Coming back to you, now that you have a bit of perspective on everything you've achieved, now that you're in a different position, different role in the game, who have been the 3 people that had the biggest impact on you and why?
The first person that comes to my mind is my Zen teacher, Karen Tersano. She's from America, but is living half of the year in my country in Finland, and she started a Zen center, like a retreat center in my country, and I met her about 6-7 years ago after I have sat meditation 3-4 years by myself. I got to know her and I was in a need of a teacher back then, and she started to teach me more about meditation. So thanks to her, I learned a lot of things about life and how to approach things. That's one reason I have achieved more things in life, and also my perspective of life has changed into more positive and more humble and so on, and more healthy as well.
Is it the kind of teaching you also transmit to the people you work with?
Yeah, well, you know, in Zen, there are lots of byproducts, so to speak. You do meditation, then you benefit and you get money and all that because you know how to do focus training, but that's not really the true essence of the Zen meditation. So I do take teachings, or I do take some techniques from meditation, and I bring them to my teaching in BMX or what I teach to the other people that are in my program. So short answer is yes, I do take things from there, because they can also not only make your tricks better, they can also make your life a bit easier. And then of course my daughter and the mother of my daughter, they have had a huge impact in my life. I don't really need to go to the details of that. So then,
Was it something you weren't ready for, or did they change your perspective on life in general?
It did. It made me softer, a lot softer.
On yourself?
On myself and on everything, everything in life in general. I would have very sharp corners like this, and then maybe now the corners are still there, but they're a little bit more rounded. That makes things a bit easier. And then last but not least, I'd like to mention my brother Vicky Gomez. We grew up together, and of course we're not riding together anymore. You can't take it away from me, the fact that we grew up together with riding and we pushed each other so much. Without him, my riding level would not have been as high as I managed to get it, because we were constantly pushing each other.
Actually, you mentioned your Zen teacher as a sort of mentor to you. Did you have any other mentors in the years you were riding or after? And the second part of the question is, what is the biggest lesson that you got taught from these people?
During the riding years, I wish I had somebody that I could ask questions how to live my life. My background from my family is the way that I didn't really get too good advices in that sense. So it was kind of like, go out there and learn to live, do your thing. But they let me ride my bike. They didn't push me to study. And now that I think of it, sometimes I do wish when the work is not going good, something is not working in life, I wish I had a university degree on something that I could just have that way, but it's not easy on that side as either. So that's what I'm understanding now a lot more. So I'm not wishing for change anymore. I'm accepting the reality as it is. I wish I had somebody, but then again, all those experiences that I had to kind of touch the hot oven with all of my fingers and do it that way, it made me who I am today, and because of that I'm able to connect with people the way I'm connecting with the people nowadays. So
what was the biggest lesson that you got from your Zen teacher,
right,
or whoever helped you to get to the point where you are today?
My teacher, and I met few others. They might see you do wrong, something that you might be harmful for you later on, but they let you go there and find out yourself. Yeah, that's the way to learn. I guess that's been the biggest lesson, that she hasn't really tell me don't do it that way, don't do it this way, but she just been watching. And after, if I do a mistake here and there, I get back to her and we talk about it. I don't have to repeat it again. And sometimes I do have to repeat it many times, until I learn. It's very simple.
But that's the best mentor then. She doesn't tell you what to do. She helps you and guides you.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that something you want to bring to your coaching?
I do have to do it sometimes, because I can't force people to do a certain way. I can only lead by an example. This is how I lived. This is how I practice. These things I had in my practice. But still, it's not an easy way. And even if or somebody knows how to do it, it's not so easy to continue to do it day after day, month after month, and year after year. So sometimes, yeah, I ask people to do some things, and then a couple of months later I ask, did you do it? No, I didn't. And then, okay, then I need to wait again and see. I'm not type of a teacher or coach that you have to do it this way. I say it one time, two times, and then get back about it later on.
And we all different.
Yeah, of course, that too.
What worked for someone might not work for someone.
Exactly, yeah.
As a coach, how does relying on feedback from other people can help riders shape and improve their riding?
I wish I had somebody to give me feedback about the details of my riding back then, because sometimes it is so that you might be leaning a little bit on wrong direction. You just don't see it, or your foot is placed on the peg in a wrong place. You cannot do pivot. Then your coach tells you, place it here, 1 centimeter this way, half inch, and then your student can do it after 5 tries. Oh, wow, it was easy. And he's been working on it for many weeks, but he didn't realize that bringing your foot back this much can make it pivot easier. That's one example, which just happened like maybe 3 weeks ago with somebody. And same thing with some people don't know how to work for the contest run. And then you fly all over to China and spend a lot of money on plane ticket, and then the result is not good. You don't land your combos, and it's because you didn't know how to practice properly. Everybody with a healthy body and with the normal body measurements and with a functioning brain, with a good training, they're in the same line with everybody else. So in that sense, I think that coaching is very valuable. And for that reason, I think the Japanese kids are progressing so fast. Like they start riding when they're 4 or 5 years old, and they're coached already immediately. By the time they're 11, 12, they can already do like pedaling time machines.
And they already have like 7 years of experience.
Yeah, exactly. For those reasons, I think it's very valuable that you get feedback from somebody who's not taking a look from your eyes. He's taking a look from the distance.
Now that you've seen a bit of all the sides of BMX, the riding, the brands, the coaching, what inspires you? What's your inspiration?
I had this conversation with one of the guys I'm coaching, and I said to him that, look, seeing you do good feels actually much better than when I was doing good on my bike. So on that moment, I felt like I'm a really coach in my heart, because of course there is the ego side of it, that okay, I want to do good so people know I'm a great coach and all that. That's a byproduct of the feeling. But really, when I see somebody being happy because I taught something, that gives more reason to my being here. My alter ego is salesman. I've been doing sales stuff for about 10 years, and it's okay, you know, pays my bills, but this coaching stuff is a whole different meaning for me. I can really take both those things. Sales career here, coaching career here. This thing here, the coaching thing, really brings a lot more value to my own life and makes me a lot happier. I think it's because I'm able to help other people. Helping other people, just, you know, you can't really measure that in money.
Not only you're helping people, but you're making them fulfill their dreams somehow, and that's even better.
And you know, we live this together. I'm there. Sometimes I'm not there, but I'm with my phone, can talk over the phone or send messages. That the disappointment is there when somebody's not doing good in a contest, and I'm still there. It's never easy to handle these situations, but you know, it's part of the job. It's not only like I only handle the good stuff. I only eating the candy from the cake, you know. It's the whole package. We cry and we laugh together.
How much do you think a rider should ride in order to get good or in order to get better?
Mm-hmm.
And should they have a particular practice routine?
I have met one rider in my life that has a lot of natural talent, and I mentioned his name before, Vicky. Well, I know he rode his ass off, but we had a very different approach to practice. Mm-hmm. And I have been always type of a rider who has to kind of repeat quite a bit to make it, I would like to say mechanical, but yes, that has a bit of negative tone. So I've been really always repeating a lot. It paid off, mm-hmm, and made my riding a lot better. and it also made me learn a lot new tricks easier, like because my muscle memory was so sharp. I was so tuned in with my body that learning new tricks became easier because I had been repeating a lot. So for that reason, I don't know any other way.
Vicky was different?
As far as I know, his approach was a little bit different and it worked for him very good. So I can't really talk about his system. But from most of the people, I know that they need to repeat. How much? It's really up to the person's muscle memory. Somebody needs to repeat just a little bit, somebody needs to repeat a lot. So my job is to find out how much is the perfect golden middle way. And only way it is to find out is to start practicing with me, and I have a tracking system where we track the results. So after that I kind of know, and after a couple of months I know more. My system kind of constantly changes with the riders, or with some riders stay like the same for long period of time, because it might be so that this rider likes this system and he don't like another type of systems. Yeah, I have few different systems, and also the system changes closer we get to the contest date and so on. With everybody it's slightly different, but in the beginning it's kind of same. It takes a little while once I get to know the rider a bit better, so I understand how to do this.
Well, the main thing is repetition.
Repetition, if you want to do a clean run or a better run than last year, for me the way I teach is the repetition. If you want to do a video trick, that's another thing, or new tricks, it's a different story then.
How this method of yours has changed over the years, with actually not riding anymore and having a bit of a step back. Did you figure out like a better way than what you were doing before?
The core practice I'm teaching now is the same approach I approached when I got ready for FlatArk, but I still do teach the method I studied and I rode when I won the X Games. That's a different thing. Basically, I do combine both those things, and then I also do this to both things, and I have something else, and that's a lot more easy on the mind. Because sometimes both systems, the FlatArk preparation and X Games preparation system, kind of puts you into a constant pressure cooker with yourself. Because if you want to do a combo or a contest run 5 times in a row clean, then you do it after a period of time, 1 week. Okay, I did 1 week. 1 month, okay, good, I did 1 month. Oh, okay, what next? 1 year. So it's like a lot of pressure all the time, every session. So of course, my job is to find out when it's too much. I didn't have anybody to tell me that now, you're doing a little bit too much. So my job is to understand when the rider is repeating too much or too little. So it's all the time I'm checking with the riders, how are you feeling, what are the results, okay, results are going low, so there's a reason for everything. So that's been kind of sharpening. I'm considering myself pretty sharp when I'm dealing with people because I don't want anybody to overdo like I did, but I didn't have anybody to tell about that, so live and learn.
Yes. What are the set of not riding related tools that you and your riders are using that really helped them progress over the years? Like anything outside of riding?
I do advise my riders take care of the physical body. I do advise people quit smoking if they smoke. So far I didn't, but I have done it to some other people who are not in my program. And also I do advise people not to get really drunk. I don't want to sound like a preacher man, but when you get drunk, we're on a very subtle level of chemistry in the brain, and even it's like only 1 week before the contest. Some people can relax. Some people, it can make the concentration a little hazy. So for me, I did notice a big difference on competing and not getting drunk 6 months before, 1 year before. I had maybe 1 beer during the 1 year before FlatArk. I can't remember correctly, but something along the lines. I had been getting drunk like night before the contest, a week before the contest, back in the days when I was younger. That's something that I do recommend luckily, the people I'm coaching don't really have any issues with that. But it's also another thing that before, sometimes I don't know the people that well. We never met before. So I need to bring this topic on the table when we're heading to the competition, because it would suck to be at the competition and then find out that he just got very, very drunk night before and I didn't tell him or her. And of course, I do advise that with riding, you can get in a pretty good shape, but it never hurts to build up a little bit of muscles.
Is that something you've done when you were riding?
I did go to a gym every winter. My routine was basically wintertime I would go to the gym, and then from let's say April to October I took it a bit easier, and then on my second career 2.0 I would do a lot of pull-ups and street workout, dips and push-ups, because I didn't want to risk my body to get injured with heavy weight. I would just do body weight movements, but it does help. And also I did a lot of skipping rope, because that taught me a lot of things of coordination and speed and so on.
When you're really into like the contest scene, like riding is like 24/7, how can someone maintain that creative? How do they balance like progressing and consistency?
That's an interesting question. It's definitely hard to do both, and especially if you have to work part-time or full-time. A lot of the people need to work full-time and then they still try to do good in the contest and still try to bring new tricks. It's definitely tough. I'd say that the best advice is probably pick the dates. Okay, yeah, I work on contest stuff on these days and then new tricks on these days. Scheduling, so if you don't schedule, it just becomes big mess and nothing comes out.
So split it up, contest run, practice, and then learning new tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
When they feel overwhelmed or they lose the focus, what should they do?
Take a break. As simple as it is. Many of the riders out there, at least the ones that I have been speaking with, has a tendency to get a little bit over worried that if I miss a day or two, is my progression going down? And that's like something that you just gotta live and learn to understand that sometimes less is more. And overdoing is not doing a favor for anyone. That is one of the biggest things I ever learned in my riding, that I would ride 7 days a week, many sessions a day for over a period of months. And then all of a sudden I feel like I'm exhausted, really exhausted. So kind of like I encourage everyone to find out their sweet spot when they're kind of like exhausted or not. Go and try, and then when you feel like you're getting exhausted, pull back and don't go there. Same thing with the injuries. Like too many people ride with the injuries because they feel that I'm gonna miss out something, and then it might lead to a longer injury. Like let's say now you're out 2 months because you didn't rest 2 weeks. It comes down from a place that there is some insecurity about the process of learning or mastering your bike. And I'm just happy that I found out that less is more.
There's
so
a sense of guilt that you're not there.
Yeah, exactly. Guilt is the right word. Yeah.
Matthias' interview that we did, that's exactly what he said. It's like, man, Alex, he rides so much. With the level he has, he could ride a lot less and still be good, if not better, because he's not resting enough. Like he doesn't give his body enough rest.
Yeah.
He says, I'm a lot happier just running maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours every day, like 5 days a week, and at least take at least 2 days, if not more, in between the travels and everything he does. But he finds it that, again, muscle memory is so crazy that when he gets back to it, he pulls all his stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've got a story of that. Like I used to repeat a lot that hang 5 into half packer and kick flip in between. I used to repeat it way too much back in the days, and then I didn't touch it for many years. And now earlier this year, I thought about it. Okay, I'm gonna try to get it on video. First I was a little scared because it's a scary trick to crash on your back. So I was a little hesitant, but I gave it a try, and on my 5th try, I pulled it. I was a little surprised. Like it's been maybe 4 years since I pulled it last time. It was hardest contest trick back then for me. Not the hardest trick, but contest trick. So I was quite impressed how this muscle memory stuff works so good. Of course, to land it every time would be a different story, but just an example of resting, the stuff is still in your muscle memory.
It's still working while you sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Even you sleep 4 years.
Let's talk a bit about energy, because we see after 2 minutes, a lot of the guys are kind of dead, you know. They can't carry on for 3 minutes. What can a rider do to maximize that energy, that stamina? What should they do if they have low energy?
If you find out during your run, let's say after 2 minutes, that you have low energy, you figure it out too late already. But sometimes some people hold the breath when they're nervous, like. So once you get the breathing good, it should stay the same from the beginning of your run until the end of your run. I understand sometimes you do a jump, you wait. And back in the days, I was teaching this technique to the Thai guys that hold the breath and then poo, poo. You know, like the people in karate, martial arts, you get more power. It works with the jumps, but it also gets your energy out. So my challenge for this trip, I've been in Thailand for a month and a week now, has been to make these guys stop doing that. Because can you imagine if you've been doing that technique for 12 years, every session you make that sound, and it kind of becomes a habit. So that was one of the first things I made when I went to Thailand again. I told them that, okay, listen, it's great that you still do that, but it's time to stop because it kills your energy. It's been taking a little time and still they do it, but they do it only now when I've been teasing them, okay, do the combo longer, and then towards the end of the combo, when there's no more energy left, they use the last piece of energy with that sound, and that's okay, but not in the beginning of your run or combo. It's a little panic reaction. So the breathing is very important, and it's easier said than done.
It's like everything.
It's practice. That's something that should solve the problem.
How can a rider in a contest deal with those high stress situations? Do you have like advices that you give to your riders?
Again, easier said than done. Just be with them. Be with the emotions. Any emotion that comes, don't run away. And there's no shortcut to it. You gotta practice it and you gotta accept it and you gotta throw yourself into the situations many times that you understand the process of accepting the emotion as it is. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound like somebody who have it all figured out, because this is a lifelong practice, but I do have some of that stuff figured out and I'm technically aware how to process quite difficult feelings and emotions when they appear, and they can be here for a couple of days. But that kind of emotion you were talking, they're usually very sharp and very intense, and they can actually paralyze you in the way that you don't remember anything, you don't remember your combos, all of the stuff that you've been practicing, you just, where is it now? I have no idea how to do. It's very complex. Thanks to my teacher, she taught me the way how to handle the stuff, and now I can say that don't push it away, just be with it.
Grab it.
Yeah, hug it, embrace it.
Well, also you mentioned like putting yourself in those situations more often. Maybe do more contests and
exactly. Well, I can give you a life example. I'm not embarrassed to talk about it. Like I was very nervous about public speaking in my life. When I ended my career, I put my bike away and went to school. I wanted to study to have a new career, and the first or second day at the school, all of us, we had to go in front of the classroom and introduce ourselves. What's your name, age, and a little bit of the background. And until the moment I had to walk up there, everything was okay. And then when I was there in front of the classroom, it caught me really bad. And I started sweating and, my heart started to beat and my face turned red and my voice started to shatter. That was like 1 year before my meditation stuff. So I didn't really know how to react to it. I tried to run away of it, like not physically run, but running away from that, feeling that stuff, and it got me even worse. So it was a proper panic attack, now I can say it. So that was the end of that school. I didn't feel like going back there anymore. I was so embarrassed about it. I didn't want to face that situation anymore. So I decided to stop. Then I started the meditation and I started going to the retreats. And at the end of each retreat, there's like a public talk after you have been sitting meditation 7 days. On the 7th day in the afternoon, 30 people behind your back, your teacher in front of you, and you have to open your heart to the teacher. Like, okay, how was it? What did you feel during this retreat? Tell to everybody now listening to you. The first couple of retreats, I was literally dying in front of there. I could not say anything. It was like, no way. But then time went on, and I got curious about it. I got fascinated. What's going on? Why am I feeling this? And what's the cure? The famous cure. So the cure was just to go out there and talk. Then I started going more and more to the retreats, and then I got a job. And every time there was a situation that there's a possibility that you can go talk in front of the people at the office, I threw myself in there. Okay, I'm nervous. Notice the feeling. Okay, it's here. My voice is a little bit like this, shattering. I'm sweating a little bit, and kind of started practicing that way. And it got a lot better. But again, I had to put myself in those situations that I was very afraid. And now it might get me sometimes, but it doesn't really get me the way that I'm afraid. Okay, it's a little bit feeling funny now, but I don't know what to say next, but I'll go there anyway. And I just, talk in front of the people, and it's going good. But that's just one example. And I do think that process helped me to understand how to be on that stage with my bike with a calm state of mind, even I'm nervous. We spoke about it in our previous interview, like I did feel nervous at the FlatArk, but I was able to handle it. I was able to be with it, and it worked out. Yeah. I don't consider that as a luck, but it was a process of training. From that panic attack in the classroom to that workplace where I was feeling that, okay, I made some progress in this area, to that moment where I had finished my last retreat maybe few months before FlatArk, and I did not feel that nervous anymore in that situation. So it was a planned training.
What is one of the best investment in time, money, or any type of investment that you might have done that you ever made?
All those hours I sat on a meditation cushion taught me a lot. Like I was never a big reader, and I thought that in order to figure out the deeper levels of life, I must be reading all kinds of psychological books and so on. I've been reading quite a bit, but before I step into meditation, I did not read. And I'm amazed how much you can learn when you start practicing the breathing and sitting and dealing with your own emotions. So I would say that.
So yeah, when you just sit by yourself and...
Yeah, or with a group of people, or with a teacher, either way. So then, because of that, I got my life back on the track.
Now, as a coach, what advice would you give to a very driven rider that wants to make it to the top of the game? And also, what advice should they ignore?
I'd say that be patient. It will take some time, even though if you do it everything right, it will still take time. And when you think you have it figured out, it will still take a little extra time.
It's more time than you think.
Yeah, it can take. Then I'd say that avoid if somebody's telling that there's a shortcut to the happiness in that sense, that you will make it very quickly. That's something I can't promise to anybody. I can promise people that we'll try our best and you'll progress, but I try to be as realistic as possible. The salesman here would like to say, yeah, you get it in a couple of months. You'll be on a podium, don't worry about it. But the coach over here, whose heart is here, says more realistic things. There's no magic pill, or no matter how hard I try to show you the right way, it's still, process. Still a process that...
It's down to the person too. You're not the wizard.
No. Maybe one day I will be.
What is something you believe or do that other people think is insane?
I don't have a direct answer for that, but I would say that if I really opened up how much I repeated in my life, people would say it's insane. Yeah, how much I repeated single tricks in order to make them look easy at the contest. Sometimes I had been thinking like, are my tricks hard enough? Because they do feel easy now. But then when I take a bit of a break from those tricks and I try to land them every time again, then I'm kind of understanding to give myself respect that they are hard tricks, but you just repeated your ass off to make them feel easy. So I don't have any figure how many times I repeated, but it's literally thousands, 10,000 times. Yeah, it's insane numbers.
Is that the road to greatness?
As I mentioned earlier, I had to repeat a lot. With some other people, no need to repeat that much. Maybe half or third or fourth of that amount is enough. But again, I did win a lot of competitions, so
it works.
It worked. It worked for me. Yeah, yeah. Was I a happy person? That's another topic. But yeah.
Did that repetition made you miserable at some point?
When you do it all by yourself, you have nobody to communicate about that, how you feel. Yes, it's tough game. So I can feel that now that I'm talking with my riders, I can be there kind of like a support person who walked that way already. I can truly understand what it is to repeat. So I do feel it helps other people not to feel miserable about it. But at times I did feel miserable because I felt really lonely practicing by myself in a boring place day after day doing the same thing. But luckily in flatland you can always think about new tricks and stop and do something else.
Sure, but solitude is...
It's tough. It's tough, yeah.
No matter what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel a lot of people can relate, especially in flatland.
Yes.
Even though you mentioned you don't read too many books, is there a book that you keep getting back to? And is there a book that actually changed your life?
The first book I read was Hardcore Zen from Brad Warner. It's kind of easy read Zen book. And then second book was The Beginner's Mind from Suzuki. That's a book that I still sometimes go back because it's very practical. And another book from Suzuki is called Not Always So. He had a style of writing that is practical and easy to understand. I like books that are easy to understand. There can be a lot of deeper wisdom, but the style they've been written is very practical and easy to understand.
Do you have a favorite quote or saying? Something that you'd be willing to put on a billboard so everyone can see?
I'm bad with quotes because I always forget them.
Oh.
Maybe this has been said already, but I think I made this up the other day when I was teaching the Thai guys. There was a situation going on with their training and I had to say, yesterday is gone, tomorrow is not here. So let's just, focus on today. That worked out. They practiced better after that. I open up the story a little bit because we did a full run contest training and one of the guys turned the sheets to me like, okay, this is how I did today, and I'm asking, okay, what happened because you did much better yesterday. Then he didn't really know how to reply, and I told him to dig deeper, and then he said that he was expecting as good results as yesterday, and for the reason that he will do good in a competition next weekend. Those are two things that we did wrong over there, thinking about yesterday because it doesn't really matter anymore. And then that puts your focus in a wrong place already, right there. And then you are thinking about next weekend's competition. So your focus is here and it's here. Two wrong places when it has to be right in the middle, really focus on the exact moment of your contest run training. So it was a good talk, and next session in the afternoon went much better.
It's a good lesson.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your 15-year-old self?
I'd say everything is going to be okay. As cliche it sounds, but don't worry about the future. I still need to remind myself of that, especially now that I have more than myself just to take care of. But I made it this far pretty good with challenges in life. I overcame all the challenges and made myself much more happier and stronger person. So I would just say that everything is going to be okay. And right now I'm facing a similar situation in life when I'm kind of thinking which direction to go. And I still recognize the same thinking pattern that I had when I was younger. I remember when I felt like my contest career is going to be end, because for some reason back then I felt like I'm gonna be 30 years old soon, and that's the absolute maximum. After that, it's just a downhill for an athlete. I thought. I had been talking like that a lot to myself, and I built a pressure that I had to have some other plans, which made it not possible to enjoy what I had when I was in the middle of the pro career. So instead of worrying about what's going to happen next, it's smart to be smart in that sense, that have a plan, do some sort of planning, and don't put all the eggs in one basket, so to speak. Of course, if you want to really make it to the top, you sort of have to do that. Yeah, but have a plan B. Might not have to be a permanent forever, but some sort of a plan B. If it doesn't work out, then yeah, exactly. It's something that I would say to the 15-year-old Martti.
What would you say to your 25 years old self?
You still have way more than 5 years to go with your pro career. Probably I would have said keep going, do some lifestyle changes, kind of like focus on being a proper athlete.
Is that something you didn't consider back in the days?
I did, but then there were times that I didn't care about it. There was a rebel inside of me who wanted to play a little rock star. Okay. And really did not consider myself as an athlete. There was even at one point when I was considering myself more like an artist than an athlete. But we all search our identities. So I guess I was just trying to find my identity in between of being artistic guy who's creating new tricks and athlete. And it got a little bit mixed up in my head. And I would now say just focus on being a good athlete, like a picture perfect athlete, and leave the rest of the stuff for somebody else.
Would you actually see yourself like someone like Alex, who's 42? Would you still see yourself in that spot, or is it something that you put on the side for now?
Every now and then when I show up at the contest, some people ask me, why don't you compete anymore? Don't you miss it? Yes, I miss it. No doubt about it. But also, having done it for many times, and I did do my comeback, I know how much work it requires. I know what it does to my body. I've been in a big pain, physical pain, and I don't want that anymore. And also being so disciplined all the time, it's something that at this age, I'm 41, I feel like I've done it long enough to be in a different role now, but still involved. And also, now that I'm coaching people on a high level, I do feel that I need to give them everything I know and not holding back at all, because we're going to be competing against each other. In that sense, it would not be fair to coach and ride.
Well, it's not happening, obviously, but would you have imagined still being riding at 42? You kind of answered that earlier, saying that in your head there was this label that there's no rider above 30 and that's the way it is. And there's kind of no point trying to go beyond that. But now that you see Alex, is that something that you could have imagined back in the day?
When John Joel won the Master of Creativity the other year, he was 40 something, maybe 44, and he did really good. And then now Alex is 42, and Alexis has been riding also in a high level. Now I think it's possible to continue, but for how long on a top 3 level, that is something I have no idea. Also, it's a lifestyle thing, how you live your life, how healthy you are, how much workout you do and stretching, and we'll see. But I'm impressed by Alex that he's doing very strong riding at the moment at the age of 42.
I think it impresses a lot of people.
Yeah, not showing a sign of slowing down. Yeah.
It's also inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
What have you changed your mind on in the last few years, and why? What was the big aha moment that you got? What was the big mindset change?
I guess what have happened in between the age of 30 or before until now, somewhere in between, that I have learned to drop the attitude of having a lot of principles in life, like the black and white thinking, if you know what I mean. Like, yes, it's either this way or that way, or it's no way. I understand there's many ways. There can be. Now I understand, yeah. Before I was quite like this or that. And now it's like different opinions, different ways. Same thing with judging. It's not so black and white. There's no right answer. Opinions. Of course, there are certain things that we all know, or most of us know who are deep in the game, that okay, this trick is actually difficult and he did not touch the floor at all. It's obvious things, but when we go to that millimeter level, it's opinions. And there might be as many opinions as there are spectators. Yeah, sure. So that's something that I'm becoming much softer now. And I worked through that stuff, as because it's a heavy burden when you are black and white in that sense. Like, I understood that it's easier to be a bit more flexible.
Focused but flexible.
Yeah, exactly.
What's next for you?
On a day-to-day level, I'm leaving back to Bangkok tomorrow. Then I'm there with my family until 15th of December, coaching Thai team for the Southeast Asian Games in Philippines in the beginning of December. That's why I got hired in the first place. So the FIS and the UCI Worldchampionships was kind of like bonus stops, but the main goal is to get the guys to do good at that event. So that's the next thing for me. Then I'm hoping to figure out things. It looks like it will happen, that I get to go all the FIS stops next year, and also the UCI World Champs wherever they're happening, because I do feel good to be there with the riders I coach, because there can be always some last minute things that encourage them to do better. So I do feel that I should be there, and it's just a matter of a budgeting thing. So the next thing is to find a way how I can make that possible and happening next year. Yeah, I keep on doing the coaching thing and keep progressing, and also I wish to ride my bike a little bit more. I'm still tuned in with my bike, but not on a super duper level. But I would like to ride a little bit more. But it's been really hot in Thailand. That's holding me back a lot. It's like, for me, it's no joke to ride in 35 Celsius. It's tough. I've been a bit lazy in that sense. But last summer I was riding quite a bit at home. But I'm not sweating on it. I don't feel guilty anymore if I don't ride. There's a right time for it and it'll come. So.
And maybe you don't have as much of expectations.
Expectations, or I don't have that need to prove. That's completely gone for now.
Is it more fun to ride then?
It's different. Okay. It's different. Sometimes the fire that comes with all that we spoke about, it's missing. That kind of pushing. You try the trick until there's no more fire left because it's too heavy. Yeah. That's missing. And I can get it back, but sometimes I'm lazy to get it back, because it's a lot of work.
Yes. Do you appreciate riding in a different way then?
I do appreciate it though, and the spot don't need to be perfect anymore. More important, it is close to my house, so it can be any kind of spot. And I had two bikes, and I have one bike brakeless and one bike with the brakes. I just grab either one. I go to my garage and I take that bike. No, I take that bike. So it's actually a lot more fun in that sense. Yes. I don't have that need to be in that new school box that, all right, you had to do this kind of tricks on this kind of a bike. I can take my mid-school bike and play around with the brakes and just having a lot of fun.
You mentioned about being here with the guys that you coach. Is that something you would like to do more, like doing more than the online, doing like real life coaching? Do you feel it brings more?
I can do it online and it's fine. But being at the contest is important as well. But of course, right now it's not possible to be in every single contest. It's tough. And it's for the reason that maybe I can't take so many days off from my work. And if I take, then it costs me a lot of money to take unpaid holidays and buy the airline ticket to Japan and so on. So there's that kind of like technical things that's very challenging at the moment. So a good thing about being able to do it online is that I can teach someone from America and from Austria and Spain and Thailand all during the same day, which I would not be able to do. Yeah. So there are pros and cons to both approaches.
But would you enjoy doing the real coaching style, like in person?
Yeah, it's a good question because I've been doing that in Thailand now for about a month and I've been truly enjoying it as well. It's been fun, it's been very productive. I like both. Both are good and both are effective and both I enjoy doing.
Any last words? Any last advice?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I'm said everything I wanted to say, so thanks for everyone watching this and thanks for everyone listening my advices and thanks everyone approaching me with coaching requests and thanks everyone who's doing all these positive things happening for Flatland at the moment.
What's your view about it? The way it's going, like the Worlds we just had, the way it looks now compared to what it was before. I mean, you were riding when there was actually the most money in it. Like as far as prize money for the contest, there were quite a lot of sponsors. There were lots of contests as well.
Yes.
Quite a lot of riding, like in Worlds. I remember when there were like 80 guys entering.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Now we're down like 30, 40 or so.
Yeah.
What's your view on that? Possibility of Olympics and all that?
I'm quite open to everything. I'm open for change and I know there is some resistance within the community about the possible change and so on, but I'm not all too worried about it. Change is good or maybe it's not good, but we live with it.
It's progress.
It's progress and it's a process as well. There's always going to be something for everybody. There's going to be this kind of contest with huge prize money and then there's going to be the official UCI competitions and then there's somebody running a video competition. Something for everybody. So I'm not too concerned of where we're heading. I know that we're staying alive as a community, as a sport, art form. We are a survivor in that sense and we've been going through some cycles already. So now there's gonna be a next cycle again. It's funny that it's been going like 10 years, and now we're heading to 2020 and the next 10 years is coming. We don't know what it's gonna bring, but I hope it's bringing some good things for everybody involved and new people as well.
And you've been keeping the hardcore side of it alive with Master of Creativity.
Yeah, it's been good project so far, so let's see.
One next year?
Yeah, I'm hoping I will find some time to get organized. It's always like a lot of work for me as well, so now I'm taking care of my Thailand trip first.
Sure. Any thank yous or people you want to shout out?
The list could be big, so I will just say general thank you to everyone and thanks for doing the interview and let's keep up the good spirit.
Right on. Hello, we're back again. I hope you really enjoyed this video and I'm sure you found tons of nuggets out of it that you can apply to your own life and to your own riding. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel dedicated to better living for better riding. And I'll see you soon, technicians. Take care. Peace.